I am resident of Colorwood for YouTube. Joel Sands, that is my buddy Patrick McRae, that is my buddy Alan Gallant. We're here to review the movie The Wrecking Crew, starring Dean Martin. Sharon Tate is in this bad boy. This was her last movie, I think, before she gets killed.
And her most sizable part.
Yeah, very sizable part.
It's a second lead, definitely. It's a good part for her.
And my favorite fact about this film, the film introduction, it's a small part of one Chuck Norris. Cinematographer for this film is Sam Levitt. Music by Hugo
Montenegro.
Yeah.
Directed by Phil Carlson. A screenplay is by William McGivern. Based on the book by Donald Hamilton.
Matt Helm books.
Yeah, the production company is Meadway Claude Productions Company, like before, and this is distributed by the same company, Columbia Pictures. This release dates Christmas Day 1968 in Canada, February 5th, 1969 in New York City. The box office $2.4 million. So this made
a lot of money in those days, actually. Not too bad.
Yeah, that's so somebody was walking home with a nice purse. That's for sure.
Those movies did well.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And this movie, again, they do a lot of cool things. I love the different kind of guns we get in this movie. And I know we didn't go in order, which is fine, but this film, it seemed they don't do the rinse and repeat like they did with the Silencers. They take a different comedy action approach a bit here. They do some of the bomb effects, but I love how they do the floor bombs where it's just falling in on them. Sorry, when did you guys first see this movie, Alan?
Oh my God. The thing I remembered about this movie was the opening montage, which is psychedelic. I probably saw this movie in the 90s sometime when I got sort of revitalized interest in the 60s, and I started watching a bunch of 60s movies pretty consistently, and particularly spy movies and spy spoof movies. And this was big on the list of all of those, this series. So probably, oh God, I was married to my first wife at the time. Used to be able to walk about 4 blocks down to a video store. Probably somewhere between 92 and 94. Somewhere in that general vicinity. Yeah, I do remember, you're talking golden age of VHS back then, and we started getting Dark Shadows tapes and all this other stuff was happening. And this guy had a butt ton of category movies, a ton of stuff. You would have loved his place, Jewel. He had tons of horror movies. The name of the place was Dave's the Video Store.
Yeah.
Dave's the Video Store.
Yep, Dave's the Video Store.
That's the interesting part there.
Yeah, yeah, but that's what it was.
Nice. Patrick, when did you first see this movie, man?
I saw it summer of '86, which is when I saw all the other Van Helm movies. They had hit syndication at least via, I think, TBS out of Atlanta, pretty hard. And I don't know if it was part of the time when Ted Turner was buying everything, and so he suddenly had access to all these extra libraries. I think it probably had something to do with that.
Yeah.
I imagine that, every morning Dean would colorize the toilet head first just to get himself, ready to shoot.
Yes.
But all seriousness aside, it was tough to tell which were my favorites. I can tell you this: the Matt Helm movies with more than 2 words in the title are usually my favorites. So every other film you get The Wrecking Crew, or you get Murderer's Row. Oh, damn it, that just blew the whole thing. If it has "the" in it.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Wrecking Crew has "the" in it. Oh, I'm lost. You know what I mean. If it's the Silencers, it's okay. If
Yeah.
it's the other one, it's fine, but it's not nearly as good as the Wrecking Crew or Murderers Row.
I'm trying to remember which one has Sid Charisse starting it.
It's Silencers.
Silencers, right?
Yeah.
She's actually quite impressive in that opening thing. It's one of the
yeah.
great things about that movie.
Yeah, she's tremendous.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed the villain of this movie. A very, very laid back villain. The villains, they feel like they could be Bond villains, but they have a kind of different approach to them in each of these movies, which I really enjoy. I love the spinning little set we get where Dean Martin spins.
Oh yeah,
I figure every booth was like that for Dean.
Yeah, it's true. After about the third drink, when he thought it was Martinelli's, but it was really Jack Daniels,
Yeah.
That's in the apple.
That's right.
Yeah, right up there with the Magic Sprite. Everybody knows a Magic Sprite.
No, I actually don't. What is that?
A Magic Sprite?
Yeah, what's a Magic?
A Magic Sprite is simply something that alcoholics carry around. If you see someone you suspect has a drinking problem, and they've got a 2-liter of Sprite, it's not Sprite.
It's or a little bit of Sprite in a whole.
It's a little bit, yeah,
or something.
Yeah, the rest is just pure rocket fuel.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I'm not making a ha-ha with this. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Well, as an alcoholic, I can tell you, I've known many people that used to carry the thermos in question also. Lunchtime.
I didn't know Beefeaters made coffee.
Yes, well, no steam would ever come out of those unless they were doing bull shots. But yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Make sure I get her name right.
Now,
yes.
I'll tell you the best booze sneaking story I know is Lon Chaney Jr. and the Oranges.
Oh God,
when he was shooting, I think when he was shooting the last movie, Spider Baby, which is one of my favorite films. He was always eating oranges constantly.
Yes,
for the vitamin C.
Oh,
and he just had a hypodermic needle, and he was, filling it full of, vodka.
Yeah.
God.
Which is I laugh at the inventiveness of it, and then I step back and I just gasp at the sadness.
Both. You can laugh or cry. It's better sometimes to laugh. It's not necessarily being disrespectful. I mean, it was a very big part of the man's life.
Yes, it was.
We celebrate his roles and so on when he was on stuff like Larry Talbot and so on. But it's a truth, and in those days they used to tell those kind of raucous stories. A friend of mine who was a recovering alcoholic said, "You need to read a book." And he said, "What?" And I asked him what it was called. He says, "Called Minutes of the Last Meeting." And it's all about these drinking escapades of these golden age actors that used to drink together. W.C. Fields was one of them.
Oh, notorious.
John Barrymore, a guy by the name of Sadakichi Hartman.
I don't know him.
Sadakichi was an actor. He was he was in The Thief of Baghdad, the silent version.
Okay.
And he also was an editor of a couple of different newspapers. He did all sorts of stuff. He was kind of this weird sort of jack of all trades guy, and he wrote poetry and had it published and various other things. But he was also one of the guys at the last meeting guys. He was an alcoholic, and he used to hang with these guys, and they used to drink together a lot. And this was in the 30s into the 40s before John Barrymore passed away. So interesting stuff.
Well, the Homely Hills Rat Pack.
Yeah.
The Homely Hills Rat Pack was sort of the inheritor of all of that.
Absolutely.
And then the Summit, taking over from them.
Yes. There was definitely a boozy fraternity, no doubt about that.
What did you guys think of Sharon Tate and Dean Martin's chemistry here?
Reasonable, I thought. It's hard not to, feel. Actually, it's hard not for the viewer, I think, to feel chemistry with Sharon Tate, whether it's sexual or non-sexual. She's a really kind of a positive, kind of adorable presence in a lot of ways. She's really, she was that way in real life. Apparently, she was a real sweetheart of a person.
Yeah.
But it comes across.
It makes the loss that much more stunning, and you can't really talk about the movie or look at the movie without countenancing that.
Yeah, it's impossible anymore. That's why Dean Martin never made another one of these Matt Helm films, is because of her. Yeah, because they were supposed.
It was something like that got Richard Lester out of directing. It was Roy Kinnear's death on the Return of the Musketeers.
Oh,
that did it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes an event like that, it ends it all for
You don't get over it.
Yeah.
And you don't come back.
No, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool set. I think there's a lot of cool set designs in here. Talked about the rotating where he's sitting, but I really love, before they do the rotation, I love how they set up the little bar too, and the trap house is to be ahead of its time a bit. What do you guys? How they had the house full of traps.
With the sliding bars coming down and the solid steel doors and all that.
You'll be very careful with how you use the term trap house.
Yeah,
that means something. It means something else.
Does it?
It can.
Yeah, it means a crack house.
Oh,
in better neighborhoods, a crack home. But yeah.
Yes, that's correct. But it's very much suited to spy movies and their parodies, and obviously the spinning booth is meant to sort of evoke smirks, because of what it is. It's a bit of an absurd sort of point. These are the kind of things that made the first Austin Powers movie in particular very effective. Is that these kind of absurdities? You take the actual spy gadgetry and you just take it a step further until it's that's a little too much, and it becomes funny. So
but I mean, I don't know what is too much. They've set themselves up at this point to complete parody.
Yeah, and the thing is, some of it doesn't have to be too much by itself as a gimmick, but the reaction of Matt Helm to the trap rooms is funny, because you slam, and then the third thing, you always get the third thing for the joke. He points at the open door and it slams shut,
Sure.
Just doing stuff like that. So
I was not expecting exploding ceiling to come crashing in this movie. That's a very pleasant surprise and a clever way to kill off some characters in this movie. What did you guys think?
It's a running gag, exploding everything in this movie.
Oh yeah, the handkerchiefs, the
hanky panky, yeah. And I mean, at one point he almost gets his nuts blown off because the woman tosses it at him and he has to toss it back and it ends up in the car. So, but yeah, the explosions are a big part of this whole thing, and you can go Freudian with explosions, I suppose, to a certain degree, since it is a Matt Helm film. But you're right. It hasn't. You can do Deus Ex Machina with it. And we're going to get rid of these characters. We're going to blow them up so that he has a pathway into the villain's lair, blah, 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 and all of that sort of thing. But you can also get it to the point where it becomes this ridiculous parody as well.
Yeah. It works here in this movie very well. The explosions, the way the death scenes are. My favorite thing is the exploding bed.
Sure.
It's like, what else are they gonna blow? Like, when you just think they can't blow anything else the hell up in this movie, wrong. They blew up the bed. was good. Oh my god.
No
And
pun intended, but the most well-laid plans, as they say.
yeah, absolutely.
I deplore sloppiness. He looks over at the decolletage.
Yeah.
Dean Martin got to do some more fight work. I think he did have a stuntman in this as well.
Yes. Oh, totally had a stuntman in this. In typical arrogant fashion that Bruce Lee was known for, he claimed that Dean Martin was lazy and clumsy, and so they basically did a lot of the fight scenes with the critical parts of the fight scenes with the stunt people.
I mean, probably by Bruce's standards, that was true.
Well, yeah, he was 49 or 50 years old when he made this.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure he had the constitution of a 90-year-old, given what he had been pushing through it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah,
No, it's true. It's just,
and I'll tell you who I really love in this movie. I really love Nancy Kwan.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah, really, really cool to see her and Sharon Tate, late Sharon Tate, have a fight sequence. I was not expecting that in this movie, a woman fight sequence, which was cool. I mean,
it's 90% dirty looks and about 10%, kicks and flips.
Yeah,
it's still kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
It's one way. You've got everything is big and clumsy and American,
it is.
which I also like. The Bond films and even the Flint movies would pride themselves on being, pretty slick, fairly European in their aesthetic, for obvious reasons. And then you've got Matt behind a wheel of a Lincoln driving around Copenhagen.
Yes.
It's just
which is
marvelous.
Actually somewhere in Los Angeles, but
Sure, yeah, it's a back lot.
Yeah.
Probably with a tug.
Yeah.
So Dean isn't even responsible for aiming it.
For driving it.
That's something I kept waiting for too with this movie. Like I'm waiting for the guy where they say, "Yeah, we're in London. Isn't that a palm tree right over there?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
transplanted.
Yeah. I mean the accents are so wonderfully all over the map.
Yeah.
I have no idea. You've got these very American sounding cops over there in American cop uniforms.
Yes.
And then you've got Frida Carlson, a member of the English Secret Service with no accent whatsoever.
Yes. Too long. Yes. And our supervillain is actually, he's so sophisticated, urbane, and forward-thinking that he dithers constantly about what he's going to do next.
Sure.
And he keeps delaying everything instead of making a decision.
He's a great rationalizer, though.
Yes.
He's the picture of often wrong, seldom in doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you work for? I work for Contini. How's that working out for you?
Yeah.
Do you know if anybody has any openings? Is Blofeld hiring?
Yeah, Nigel Green does a really great job of being Phil in this movie.
Yes.
And he's Nigel Green. I've only seen him in two things. I've probably seen him in more, and I just didn't know it. But I've seen him in this and Jason and the Argonauts, where he's my favorite Hercules.
Cool.
There you go.
Hey, that's him. He's Hercules. He's that really rowdy, boisterous, full of life, screwing up Hercules.
I never made that connection, actually. I guess I never.
Yeah, well, he has the beard.
Yeah. I just the name just didn't. Yeah.
I'll tell you of an actress's death that didn't affect the actor. When All Dogs Go to Heaven, when Burt Reynolds recorded his final voice lines for the dog, the young girl who voiced the girl in the movie, her father murdered her.
Yes.
Before, and Burt Reynolds talking to her, knowing she had already passed away, and so the tears you sort of hear and the feelings you hear from her are real.
It's ironic because it's in the story it's the dog that's going away.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and apparently he had a real hard time. They had to talk him into it, and then they gave him as much time as he needed to do it. And but yeah, it's pretty awful thing to have to do.
Yeah, that's just craziness. What's you guys' favorite scene in this movie?
I mean, they're all sort of equally absurd. I don't know. I think probably the I love the musical parodies.
Yeah,
I would go with those.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, every time. I mean, he's not singing his songs, but they just happen to pop into the background. Like a half a dozen scenes. Also, I don't. This isn't a favorite scene, but it's a favorite sort of observation of what's happening. This guy styles the white golf windbreaker look.
yeah.
And never gets it dirty, even though he's rolling around half the movie, getting blown up, and there's not a smudge on the damn thing. It's just awesome.
That's America's Q branch is especially familiar and conversant with the textile industry.
Yes, that's Scotch Guard to the max right there.
Maybe he has like OCD and he keeps it clean.
Yeah. No, I think what it is, it's a Teflon version of Scotch Guard that was developed for ICE, the secret organization.
Has anyone ever created a character named Bela Lugosi? Yeah.
No.
I think there's something to it.
Alan, what is your favorite? Alan, what is your favorite scene, man?
My favorite scene? It's tough. It's a lot. I like the early interplay with Helm and what's her name, Freya, because when she's acting like the awkward geek and all kind of buttoned down and so on, and the repartee between the two of them particularly, I enjoyed that a lot. I thought that was I thought that was the most genuine between the actors rather than the romantic scenes. I thought that was definitely more it just clicked.
I mentioned the fight scene with Nancy Kwan. The fact that Sharon Tate's character, oh, my hat, keeping my hat on, and then when she gets when she's on the train, when she's on the train, I lost my hat. Like, son of a bitch. Wow.
Dean has this moment of just wonderful exasperation.
I lost my Lincoln. Man, what a boat that car is. Oh my God.
Amazing.
This is definitely product placement, man. You get a Lincoln that big. And it's gold, of course. So
oh, sure. Yeah, nondescript to have over there, easily maneuverable.
Yeah. I think that's the thing too. A lot of the cars that are used for the movie are just it's product placement. It's an advertisement for the cars.
Sure.
Well,
I mean, it is. I mean, they had product placement. Which one was it? It was from Goldfinger. I think had the among the British cars, and the German cars, they had product placement for the Ford Mustang because it was brand new.
Yeah,
I think Tilly Masterson drives that. Yeah. And in this movie they've got in this movie they've got what do? They have they have Mercedes, I guess, and then they've got Lincoln. Because at the beginning of the movie there's a great big black Lincoln limousine. Yeah. And then the gold Lincoln are the two main cars from that brand. So, yeah.
Yeah. I have a favorite character in this movie, and it's not just Dean Martin's character. Who's you guys' favorite character in this movie?
Oh, it's Matt Helm. Everything revolves around him. Close second is for me. I just adore that woman anyway, and anything I've seen her in. You know, she was in Valley of the Dolls. She was in a couple other films. She was just getting started. She was only 27 years old. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. Ridiculous.
Craziness. I remember.
So, Joel, who was your favorite?
I really love Nancy Kwan. No offense, I like Sharon Tate. I've seen Sharon Tate movies. Nancy Kwan was just a lot of fun in this movie too, for a heel. Yeah,
absolutely. I think she provided a lot of attitude in this movie. You know,
and it fits.
she really did.
Her and Sharon Tate's chemistry with that fight scene was really good. Though it's like dirty looks too, it fits. It works. You really appreciate. We talked about the Silencers, how the cast had the chemistry was underrated. I would say the same thing here. Very, very. The timing is really good. Everybody's on point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Even Elke Summer is she's being Elke Summer, but she's really good at it. And it's a smaller role. It's kind of a little less meaty than some of the other things that she's done. In particular, her turn in Shot in the Dark.
Yeah.
You know, that was really what.
I mean, that's such an immortal performance from that decade, as far as those types of movies go.
Yes. But yeah, there is a good chemistry, I think, among this cast. I like to think that they had enjoyed making these films. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems pretty evident that, you know, everybody's having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that really makes the movie work.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to add about the movie before we go?
It's worth your time.
It is. And it's such a golden age for these kind of films. The 60s were just such a golden age for these kind of films. And the other thing that I would say is I just absolutely adore the film stock and the graining of it. This era, I've mentioned this before. Yeah. I just really do love the film stock and the way the color just jumps out at you without looking totally bizarre, you know. But it's still very vivid. It's not lurid; it's vivid, and I really enjoy that. In the same way that I enjoy the sort of switch in color and graining in the 70s. You know, where you got the colors became a little bit more muted in a lot of films and television series. So,
well, it's just a different stock of film that they were using.
Yes.
I really love all the outfits the women get to wear in this movie, plus the guys too. The costume design is really well done in these movies. It looks really cool. Everybody looks good.
The golf jackets, I mean, he wears in several of these films, and it's a hallmark of the character. You know, he's very casual,
turtlenecks,
stylish, and so on, and turtlenecks and all that thing. Yep, all of that. It's great.
He's got that. He's got that Barnabas 1991 look. You know, he really does.
You guys talked
Barnabas
about.
Looks like he's Matt Helm's Undertaker.
That's right.
You guys talked about Austin Powers, but do you guys think the Matt Helm movies inspired Austin Powers in a large way?
Aspects of them, and aspects of the Flint movies. They even use the sound effects from the Flint movies. Yeah. The red phone sound effect is right from our man Flint. Yeah. So it's yes. Michael Myers drew from a lot of stuff. He was very much into all the spy movies and the spy parodies. And Dr. Evil is basically Blofeld, right? It's Blofeld.
Yeah.
Right down to the scar, you know, down his eye. And the Pleasance performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great stuff. It's great stuff.
There's going to be a lot of links in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel, obviously, Colin Sport After Dark. Colin Sport After Dark. Link to Patrick Ray's Dark Shadows Daybook of Bounty, which is in the description box. And yes, a link to this movie, which is on Tubi, The Wrecking Crew, is going to be in the description box. Go check it out. It is damn worth your time. I give this.
Several of the Matt Helm films are on Tubi, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give this a solid 9, guys. What do you guys give it?
Oh,
Good
yeah,
genre.
I think
Yeah.
for what it is, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
And yeah, Sharon Tate is a joy to watch in this movie. If, sadly, if she wouldn't have got killed, she had a hell of a future ahead of her.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just craziness. But is there anything you guys want to add before we check on out of here?
Nope. I think this is a fun movie to watch and a fun movie to talk about. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Guys, I want to wish you a happy Halloween. Be safe tomorrow. And peace out,
you.
guys.
We'll do
Got
it. All right. Take care.
Take care.